Hello students, welcome to today's class. This week we'll be taking a look at Democracy 2. Under Democracy 2, we'll be looking at what are democratic institutions. We'll identify some of them: INEC, political parties, pressure group, and after which we'll look at conclusion. First, let us get to know more about democratic institutions. Democratic institutions are those institutions that help to strengthen democracy in the country, and we'll get to know them after the other. One of them is INEC. INEC is an initial of the World Independent National Electoral Commission. This institution was set up for the conduct of presidential, governorship elections, and also election into the federal and state assembly. It was set up in 1998 to conduct the 1999 election. Let us get to know some of their functions. One of their functions are to organize and supervise all matters related to election into the National Assembly, state assemblies, governors, and presidential offices. It is also their responsibility to register all voters and also to register all political parties. They also screen candidates for the election. It is also their responsibility to demarcate the country into electoral constituencies. They are also the ones who provide electoral materials during election. They fix election dates. They also monitor operations of political party. They announce election results. The other institution we'll be looking at now is political parties. Political parties are a kind of an organized group of people who come together with the sole primary aim of winning political offices, and most of the time to seek the mandate of the people, because it is through the people you get to stand the opportunity to win during an election these political offices, and then you are also given the opportunity to go into those offices to control public resources. Examples of political parties that we can identify now in the country: we have the People's Democratic Party, which is known as the PDP. We have All Nigerian People's Party, which is known as the ANPP. All Progressive Congress, which is known as the APC. We have the Labour Party, LP. We also have the Alliance for Democracy, which is also known as AD. It is through this platform that aspirants and candidates stand to seek the mandate of the people they want to represent. Also, do not forget to know, which is also a very important aspect of this, that Nigeria practices a multi-party system, and as such a lot of political parties are allowed to come in. Functions of this political party: one, they serve as the link between the people and the government. It is through political parties the people have the opportunity to express their vision. So if you want to be a leader, you do that through a political party, and from there, if you win an election, you are opportune to go into the office to lead in whatsoever position that you have expressed your interest. They also serve as the machinery for training and recruiting political leaders, because even if you go to the university to study political science, without practical, you might not even know what needs to be done. And most of the time, theory might not look the same as practical. So it is through the political party you come in to practicalize everything you have learned in school, everything you've been taught in school, and then you get to know whether actually they were true or not. They provide political education for the people through campaign and rallies. During campaign and rallies, political parties educate the people about government, about what to expect in government, and also give them the opportunity to come in They also serve as an effective means of changing government through effective rival political parties. Like you can see, it's very obvious in Edo State and also in Nigeria. You have the two major political parties, which is the PDP and the APC, and you see the way issues come up every now and then, criticism between them. This one is telling the people, I would have done it better and I can do it better. The other one is saying, when you were in power, what better did you do? We that are there now, we are doing it better. Issues here and there, talk. This is actually what you get in a democratic setting. They also encourage the electorate to be interested in government through their clarification of issues and provision of elective information or relevant information on candidates for election and current events in the society. All of these are some of the functions of political parties. Let us now take a look at pressure group. Pressure group are also a group of people who come together for the purpose of influencing the decision of government on certain policies or decisions that do not favor them. They protect the interests of their members and also influence the decision of government that affect the generality of the people in the country. So pressure group are those kind of group of people who come together. They form an organization, they form an association under which they begin to start expressing their interests, under which they begin to start reviewing the policies of government. Policies are actually also known as decisions of government, things that government intend to do. Most of the time, before government do anything, they first of all make it as a decision, as a plan. Most of the time, that plan is brought to the notice of the public. Most of the time, when it's even not brought to the notice of the people of the public, this organized group of people get to know about it. They begin to speak against it. If it's not in the interest of the people, they begin to pressurize the government. They begin to say, no, we will not accept this. And when the government listens to them, the government will now have the opportunity to go and review that decision or that policy so that it will be in the interest of the people. An example of such pressure groups that we'll be taking a look at now is Nigerian Union of Teachers, which is also known as the NUT. They are there as a pressure group to ensure that the voice of teachers are heard, and most of the time when things are done out of line, they also speak up. We also have the Nigeria Medical Association, which is known as the MMA. These ones are also there to ensure that the interests of the doctors are protected, and that government do not make any policy that will affect the medical system. There are times they also come out to talk about general things that affect the generality of the public. We also look at the Nigeria Labour Congress, which is known as the NLC. NLC is also there to carry out one campaign or the other to speak against government that is not favoring the people. Let's not take a look at their function. One of their function is to check government excesses. When government are not doing things out of place, they ensure that they check it, speak to the government about it, and as such the government will have no choice rather than to reduce or step down on whatsoever they are not doing that the people are now speaking against. They also advise the government on their policies. When government are about to make any decision, they advise the government, this decision will be better if you take it to be in the interest of the people, and it can also help your popularity, because most of the time when you take a decision that benefit the people, your name become what will now be on the lips of everyone. Everybody begin to sing your praises. All of that is very, very key. They also mobilize the people against some government policies. Any policies of government that is not people oriented, that seems to look like anti-people, they mobilize their people against such government policies. They mobilize the generality of the people against such government policies, and everybody will speak up against it, and as such government will begin to adjust. They also fight for the interest of their members. When their members are threatened, they also speak up and fight for their interest. They educate their members and the people in general through propaganda, debates, and symposium. They also carry out all of this. We now look at another institution we'll be looking at now is the arms of government. These are another viable institution that also ensure that democracy is protected. And under the arms of government, of course, we have three arms of government. We have the legislature, we have the executive, and we have the judiciary. They are very important democratic institutions. Let us take them one after the other. Let us look at the legislature first. The legislature, they are those who represent the people. It is in this regard you get to know about what is known as indirect democracy. But the people have elected them indirectly to go and represent the view of the people. And one of their function is that they make law. They make law for the people. Laws are made that will work in the interest and also protect the people. They also approve policies of the executive. When the executive make any decision, they scrutinize it, they look into it to ensure that it is decision that will work for everybody. And when that becomes the case, they will approve it. They also approve the budget prepared by the executive. When the executive make preparation for any budget, they are the one who look into that budget. They are the one who ensure that that budget is the budget that will put what is needful to the benefit of the public. They will approve it. Having looked at that, let us look at the executive now. What are their functions? One of the functions of the executive is that they implement policies made by government. When government make policies, it is the executive that implements it. They are the one who carry it out. They are the one who ensure that it is effective. They also formulate policies. They are the one who bring policies together. They are the one who think of something that needs to be done that will be very important, and then they begin to start making that decision to ensure that the people are well served. They also approve bills passed by the legislature. Whenever the legislature has passed any bill, it comes back to the executive. They are the one who will assent their signature to make sure it becomes a law. They also prepare the budget. They ensure that the budget is prepared and that everything that is needed in the state for the progress of the state and for everyone who are living in the state are also reflecting in the budget. So it is sent to the Acts of Assembly for further scrutiny and approval. We now look at the functions of the judiciary. The judiciary play a very vital role, and one of that role is that they interpret the law. The laws that are made by the executive, by the legislature, is being interpreted by the judiciary. They approve, or rather they protect the rights of the individual. The right of every individual is protected by the judiciary. That is why you often hear that they said the judiciary is the last hope of the common man. So whenever anybody is kind of treated unduly, and if, for example, your right was violated, it is through the judiciary you ask for redress. It is through the judiciary you ask for justice, and it is through the judiciary that all of that are fixed. They settle dispute. Whenever there is dispute between the people, within themselves, it is the judiciary that settle it. Whenever there is also issues between the people and government, it is also the judiciary who will also come in to settle. Whenever there is also issue between the legislature and the executive, it is also the judiciary who also come in to ensure that everything is settled. They serve as check on the other arms of government. They serve as check on the other arms of government. Which are the other arms of government? Like we earlier said, the legislature and the executive. They are the one who ensure that these people are working according to the provision of the constitution. They are not working out of the constitution or what the constitution allowed them to do. When all of this is done or presumed to be done, it is the judiciary who will ensure that what is needful is done. So we will now look at conclusion. In conclusion, I want you to understand that democratic institutions are very, very important in any country, and as such, because of this democratic institution, democracy has stand the test of time. Since Nigeria began to experience democracy since 1999 till date, it is through the effort of all these democratic institutions that democracy has remained and is still waxing stronger by the day. Gradually everybody is getting to know their rights and their place in the country, and everybody is also asking for what should be and what should be done. With all of this, democracy will take its proper place, and soon enough we will begin to celebrate the dividend of democracy. This is all we can take for today. I'll see you in my next class. Goodbye.